Hello from me, Sudip Bhaduri, with the one and only big Barton Film Show on Barton FM online and on digital, repeated during the week, and now on YouTube. So each week now with the lockdown, instead of a new film being reviewed as all cinemas are temporarily closed, I'll be taking you on a road trip back in time to review a golden year in movies. The movies, the music, the news, the gossip, all packed in a 15 or 20 minute slot each week. This week, 1982. What was happening in your life? And what was in the news? Well, it was the 1982 FIFA World Cup, and for the first time since 1958, 3 home nations qualified: England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. England were in the record book straight away with the fastest ever goal, scored by Brian Robson against France within 35 seconds. They were unbeaten throughout the tournament, but were eliminated before the quarters. Northern Ireland shocked the footballing world by beating hosts Spain in front of a massive crowd, silenced them, and Scotland blew it again. And Italy, against all the odds, with Paolo Rossi in fine form, beat West Germany 3-1. In other news, Argentina instigated the Falklands War by invading those islands in April. Laker Airways went bust. Princess Di gave birth to William. An Australian mum was jailed for a suspected dingo baby murder, which inspired the film A Cry in the Dark with Meryl Streep. And the Queen fended off a bedroom intruder called Michael Fagan. So what about the new films this year? I will choose my top 3 later. Recall Flashdance with a thumping Irene Cara song. Tobe Hooper brought us the scary, chilling Poltergeist. And Sam Raimi, The Evil Dead. Sean Connery made his final 007 appearance in Never Say Never Again. Thank goodness, never again. John Rambo, played by Sly Stallone, made his debut in The Violent First Blood. Dustin Hoffman was a woman in Tootsie. Eddie Murphy, the top Saturday Night Live comic, started his film career with 48 Hours, and Monty Python's Meaning of Life stormed the box office. Films which just missed out on my top 3 included Harrison Ford in Blade Runner. It was known as Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, a book by Philip K. Dick. Richard Gere in An Officer and a Gentleman, and Meryl Streep in an emotionally charged Sophie's Choice. So what about my top 3? At number 3, the king of comedy, teaming up Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, one of the most successful combos in Hollywood. A chilling black comedy. And De Niro plays a goofball called Rupert Pupkin, living in his family basement. He's hounding celebrities for autographs. He wishes to be the best comic in the world and wants to be like his hero, Jerry Langford, played by Jerry Lewis. He wishes to appear on his show and perform, and will stop at nothing to get his dream. Does this script remind you of Joker without the DC label? De Niro was the host with Joaquin Phoenix, ironically. Was this a homage, therefore, to the king of comedy? A touching but repulsive characterisation by De Niro. It was a flop in the box office, but remains to this day a cult classic. At number 2, Gandhi, an epic amidst all the epics by David Lean and his predecessors, but this time made by the late, great Sir Richard Attenborough. A multiple Oscar winner, including Best Film and Best Actor, Sir Ben Kingsley, who hails from my home city of Manchester. The tale of a humble man, Mohandas Gandhi, an attorney in South Africa, who gets involved in all the political violence there. He returns to India and struggles to gain India its independence amidst adversity and oppression by the British. Never forget the Amritsar massacre, the Salt March, and his massive global following, together with his assassination by Nathuram Godse. The score was by the legendary Ravi Shankar, and Ben Kingsley is a spitting image of the great man. But my number 1 film of 1982 has to be E.T. the Extraterrestrial, a wonderful sci-fi fantasy for all the family, made by the irrepressible Steven Spielberg, starring young Henry Thomas, Dee Wallace and a very young Drew Barrymore in her film debut. So 10-year-old Elliot discovers a stranger from another planet stranded from his mothership. He swears to protect him and pleads his siblings to partake in the secrecy. E.T. has to get back. He has a telepathic link to Elliot, but there are government guys out to capture him for scientific research. A memorable, majestic score by the great John Williams, a story which will always capture our imagination and hearts, and it translates religious myth into cuteness. It was a major smash. Millions of dollars of merchandising, an everlasting ride at the Universal Studios theme park, and E.T. was in one of the Christmas adverts just gone. Drew Barrymore as Gertie steals every scene. What's not to like about E.T.? And apparently Henry Thomas reduced the producers to tears at his screen test. Magnificent in every way. My rating for E.T. is a very majestic 5-star. The magic behind E.T. can be dedicated to the long-term collaboration between scriptwriter Melissa Matheson and Spielberg. And some of the great cinema moments come from this movie alone. It's a standard story turned into a wondrous experience with some great movie quotes, and do keep those hankies close by if you want to see it again. Other movies of note this year: Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. This was an increasingly popular movie franchise with William Shatner as Kirk, and this particular film was based on the episode The Demon Seed, and Ricardo Montalban plays his nemesis, Khan. Don't forget the computer-generated sci-fi film Tron, which was remade a few years ago. This was a surprise hit. The visual effects were cutting edge. Think The Matrix back in the 80s. And Dame Julie Andrews dressed as a man opposite James Garner in Victor Victoria, directed by her husband Blake Edwards. Movie news from 1982, and at the Oscars in March this year, the best film was Chariots of Fire. Best actor was Henry Fonda for On Golden Pond. Best actress was Katharine Hepburn in the same film. It's a wonderful story that was, from 1981. Best supporting actor Sir John Gielgud for the very weak Arthur. Best supporting actress Maureen Stapleton for her appearance in Reds, directed by Warren Beatty, who won the Gong for Best Director. At the American Film Institute Lifetime Awards, the great legendary director Frank Capra was honoured with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Frank Capra made great films like It Happened One Night and It's a Wonderful Life, and ironically, Jimmy Stewart gave him the Gong. Henry Fonda, who was in On Golden Pond, sadly passed away. The lovely Princess Grace of Monaco, aka Grace Kelly, died tragically in a car crash. Who could forget her in some classic Hitchcock movies like Rear Window and To Catch a Thief? Other famous people have passed away: John Belushi from the Blues Brothers, Kenneth Moore, and Brief Encounters' Celia Johnson. Channel 4, in its Virgin years, also released some films of note, including The Draftsman Contract and Angel. And the late great country western singer Kenny Rogers made his film debut in Six Pack, and he actually played a stock car racer. The least said the better. And that's a take for 1982. Hope you had a good time in my time portal. Join me for another trip back in time next week on the Big Barton Film Show on Barton FM. See you soon.